Before I sing this next song, I want to give some kind of background so you understand where it's coming from. In 2001, I was an actor. I was getting work from 2000 to 2001 on and off. And this particular performance was a theatre and education performance called Songs and Stories, a cabaret that we took around primary schools across the north of England. And there were 3 of us in the cast. And I had this sense that I should leave the acting profession. And I had that sense in my second year of drama school, but I didn't pay any attention to it. But this time it came back and I perceived it was the Lord. And so at the end of that tour, we were, near the end of the tour, we were in the car and we were discussing what we're going to do next. And one of the cast members said she was going to do some theatre and education with her husband. And the other said she was going to do some comedy. And they asked me what I was going to do. And I said, I'm going to look for coffee bar work because I liked coffee. And at that time, the Lord started showing me things from His Word about being a witness to nations, to Gentiles, being a testimony, about teaching the Word of God, about shepherding. And there were lots of different scriptures that resonated with me. And I got an email from a former pastor of mine called Dave Royal. He was in South Africa. And he invited me to do a year course in South Africa that he put together at his church. And I looked at the curriculum, and so many things in that curriculum matched what the Lord was showing me from His Word that it seemed so obvious to me, this is from the Lord. And I applied for my visa. I got my student visa, a year visa. And the pastor of the church I was at, he took me to the airport in January 2002. And on the way, we went to the petrol station. He went to fill up his fuel, and the fuel pump jammed. It must have frozen. And then he looked, and he realized he was putting unleaded into a diesel tank. He quickly took the diesel, put it in, no problem. And he got in the car and he said, the Lord wants you in South Africa. And that was fortunate, because if I missed the flight, I didn't have enough money to pay for another one. I got the cheapest flight I could get, flying via Athens. And I had just had this sense of a complete brand new start to my life. I was at the airport, and I'm not telling a lie, in my arrogance, I prayed to the Lord when I was in Athens, waiting for my connecting flight. And I said, Lord, if you're going to take me home anytime, take me now. Because I felt like there was nothing holding me back. I had no possessions. I had nothing in this life. I'd given all my music collection away. I had a few photograph albums that I kept with my parents, but that was it. No ties whatsoever. I felt free. I came to South Africa, walked into the door of the church on Sunday, and there on the board was From Neighborhood to Nations. And as I was doing that course that year, it was decided I needed to get more practical experience of ministering. And so I joined a couple called Caleb and Sophie, and I was supposed to go there for a month, but then Dave said, would you like to go for 6 months and do the rest of your year there? And I said, yeah, I'd like that. And Dave said, don't feel we're kicking you out. If you want to come back, you're free to come back. And I said, no, I actually feel that the Lord is leading me into mission. So Dave said, well, pray about it, and maybe at the end of the year we can see about how we can help you be there longer, because Caleb and Sophie were coming to minister under Dave Royal. And by the end of the year, I decided, yes, I believe the Lord wants me here longer. I went to the Home Affairs office in Vryheid, and I said I'd like to get a permit to volunteer here. And they said, what permit do you have? I said, a study permit. They said, no, you have to go back to the UK and then reapply to come. I told Dave, and Dave said, no, that can't be right. Come up to Springs, we'll do it in the office there. I know the people there, because he was applying for permanent residency at the time. I came up, they took my application with no problem, and then I waited and I waited and the visa didn't come. And I had to come to a place where I'm either going to have to cancel my ticket or I'm going to have to fly back. And I don't know if I have a visa to stay in South Africa. And by faith, I cancelled the ticket. But I had to come to terms with the fact that maybe I've got it wrong. Maybe the Lord's going to require me to leave. And there was this part of me that didn't want to leave. I wanted to stay. And I had to get to a place where I put it in the Lord's hands. And I said to the Lord, Lord, if you want me to stay, I want to stay. But if you would have me leave, Lord, your will be done. Because, Lord, you are fulfilling your purpose through me. And you are using this to help me become the person that you need me to be, to fulfill whatever purpose you have to fulfill in my life and through my life for the sake of others. And that is the scenario out of which this song came. To cut the long story short, I got the permit and I ended up staying for another 2 extra years in South Africa before going back to the UK for 1 year and 3 months. And then I was back in South Africa again. The following year I met my wife, got married, and we ministered together in South Africa until January last year, 2018. And here we are in New Zealand. The way that I've been walking, I need some strength from you. Doubt seems to be taunting and it's getting closer. I know I've seen the evidence to put my mind to rest, but the curse that plagues this moment is forgetfulness. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. It's okay because it's on time to show me I'm no one at all. Give me faith to keep believing when deception's at the door. You're making it right. You're making me right to be the vessel of your choice. This life is transitory, but deceptive all the same. Filled my mind with all the nonsense of this age. Eternal is much longer, but the clouds are in the way. Still I promise to hold on till they pass away. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. It's okay because it's on time to show me I'm no one at all. Give me faith to keep believing when deception's at the door. You're making it right. You're making me right to be the vessel of your choice. Father, there's no one else to turn to, 'cause no one knows me like the way you do. turning. Even though I already have put my trust in you. Father, there's no one else to turn to, 'cause no one knows me like the way you do. And I can only keep returning, even though I already have put my trust in you. The past is gone away. I can't go back, but will I stay? The past is gone away. I can't go back, but will I stay? I'd like to stay. I'd like to stay. I'd like to stay. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. It's okay, because you're bringing time to show me I'm no one at all. And I will take whatever you decide, and I will travel in that way. Keep making it right. Keep making me right, to be the vessel of your choice. And I'll take whatever you decide, and I'll take whatever you decide, and I'll take it, yes I'll take it, yes I'll take whatever you decide, and I'll take whatever you decide, and I'll take whatever you decide.